Oh, we at sidelines next week?
That's right.
That's exciting.
Yeah, be good.
That's exciting.
Be good.
Oh, man.
Did you give me your receipt for your food
Nah, don't worry about it.
at Buffalo's?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I'll get you the sidelines. You should be getting your check this week.
Okay. They already got, like, my info and everything?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're going to let me know.
Ready?
Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the James Miller Coaching Show, presented by the Credit Union of Georgia, the official bank of Reinhardt Athletics. I'm the host of your show, Lorenzo Robinson, and I'm being joined by a very special guest, still special, even if this is his third time on the show. It's always a charm, always a pleasure. The man with the plan, Coach Jonathan Burton. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good. Thanks, Lorenzo.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you've had a front row seat to the beginning of this season for the football team. I'm going to start with this. What has impressed you the most with what the team has been able to do thus far?
You know, listen, I've been able to go on the road some, and the only trip I didn't get to go was Southeastern, but obviously I had a chance to see them at home and go to Cumberland as well. I mean, obviously the effort's tremendous. I mean, I think the guys play with a lot of heart. They play with a lot of effort. I mean, I felt like we've been in some moments where we probably easily could have thrown in the towel, and we didn't. And, you know, that's something I'm most proud of, to see the effort is there. I thought the last game that we played, the Lindsey Wilson game, was probably, you know, one of the best halves of football that I've seen our program play in a really long time. And as close as we were to finishing that game, we still didn't get to finish it the way that we wanted. But, you know, I would say probably for me the things that I'm more proud of is I feel like the camaraderie is really good on the field. I feel like the communication is good within where we need to be and the direction that we need to go about and where we need to be lined up and the things that we need to do. But I think overall we're so close to winning probably 2 of these games that we've lost. I feel like we put ourselves in position to probably win those games, but you know we've made some mistakes that have kept us from beating some really good teams. And you know, obviously Southeastern is a really good football team, and Lindsey Wilson's one of the best teams in the country, but we're right there in both of those games. We've got to find a way to put ourselves in that position so that we can win those moments instead of kind of just expecting something bad to happen, which is a bad place to be. We don't want to be in that position, but hopefully we're getting ready to get on a run and play our best football as we head down the stretch.
Absolutely, and I want you to put your coaching hat on real quick. If you could say one thing that you feel like the team has to do in order to improve going into conference play, what would be that one thing that you would point to?
You know, I think probably just trying to take care of the ball. I think in some big moments we've made some crucial mistakes. You know, I think our defensive line play, our offensive line play has slowly gotten better each game. And, you know, that's something that's exciting because as you get into postseason football and the end of this season, you're going to have to be good at the line. You have to be able to run the ball. You're going to have to be able to protect the quarterback and be able to do some of those things. And I feel like our line play has been really good, but I feel like if we eliminate some of the mistakes and some of the moments that have cost us to kill some drives, whether it be a penalty, maybe a muff punt, maybe an interception, maybe a fumble. If we protect the ball, we take care of it in those situations, I think we're going to get on a really nice run. But in order for that to happen, we've got to pay attention to the little things that Coach preaches, you know, every day that I know he's preaching. And same thing that I would do when I was a coach. You know, when you're trying to make the small things, the attention to detail, all the little things and how you prepare and try not to get wrapped up in one game. Football's the hardest game for me because you only get one chance a week. You know, baseball and the sport I was in, we get 50 opportunities that we're guaranteed. So we could have a bad day or a bad weekend and respond. In football, you know, when you miss one, you're only down to 9, then you're down to 8. So every opportunity is crucial, and I think Coach will have them ready to go as we start conference play.
Yes, sir, and I'm glad you brought that up, a perfect transition. You had some experience in this regard, being that you were a coach who wasn't afraid to schedule these tough non-conference games, and that was sort of the reputation that you built with the baseball team over the last few years. So what would you tell the team as you make that transition from such a difficult non-con slate to now going into AAC play? Yeah,
I mean, I think the important thing is that everything that we want to do is still in front of us. Like, you've got to understand, we're 1-3 in the non-con. We feel like we should be better. I feel like we should be better. But we still have a chance. We're 0-0. Basically, it's the way I would approach the season. That we're 0-0. We've got a 6-game season. We know in order to make the playoffs, we're going to have to win the league. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We've let some opportunities go away early, but hopefully we can use those lessons as an opportunity for us to grow and to come back and win the conference. Because you're right, scheduling these teams will prepare us when we get in the playoffs, if we can get into the playoffs, because there's nobody that's going to be easy when you get to that time of the year. And listen, next year's no different in the non-con. We're going to play Lindsay again. We're going to we're going to play a really good we scheduled Newberry, a Division II school. It's to prepare us to make championship runs and to find a way to be a national champion in football. That's my goal. I know that's what our coaches' goal are, and we're not just happy with being a conference champion. We need to get this thing going back and extend the season well into Thanksgiving and further.
Most definitely. So now, shifting gears a little bit to see what's going on around campus and different athletic programs. Women's volleyball is currently in season. They have a big game coming up tonight, actually, at 6:30. 13-4 right now, 5-0 conference play. Speak to the season that they've had thus far.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, I had a chance to finally get able to watch them in person, and man, they play with such energy, and they have a genuine care for each other. Tessa's done great in preparing our girls to be able to transition to the next opponent and not dwell on the last. And we've started slow in some matches, but man, we've really finished strong. And I know we've got one on the road that's always, anytime you go on the road, it's difficult. But when we turn our attention back, we're going to start getting into some really, really good competition, starting this weekend with Milligan when they come in here on Saturday. But this is a match tonight that I know they're playing right now that we don't need to let slip up. We need to take care of business, and we're in position to win this league, but we definitely still got some tough matches ahead, but they're off to a tremendous start.
Most definitely. And everyone, if you have an opportunity to check out what's going on with the team, please do that. Again, the game is at 6:30. Want to see if they can keep the ball rolling. One of your new hires, Coach Richard Morgan, I had the pleasure of sitting down with him 2 weeks ago. What would you say about how he's trying to change the culture within the basketball program?
Yeah, Richard's great. I went through this interview process trying to figure out our next best, basketball coach to figure out who was going to fill Justin's shoes, and Richard there was no question that he's still got the energy, he's got the passion, he's got the desire. I probably, now that I'm in the gym in my office, I see more of their practices than I do anybody. I get a chance to go and I watch them, and they're playing at a very fast pace. He's really spreading the guys out a lot. I think you're going to see a lot of transition basketball in terms of how they're going to push the envelope and what they're going to try to do to their opponents. But my biggest thing is when I identified coaches as our next coach is I said, we need to play defense. We need to find a way to make sure that we're not giving up big opportunities to teams that come into our court. And he stretches it. And he pushes defense. And I think these guys are going to be more physical. I think they're going to be putting more pressure on our opponents, which is good to see. And Tony and the girls, they look like they're primed to have a really good season. And, our men's golf team, holy cow, Evans he's got a great squad. And they're all young. Just finished third in a major tournament this past weekend and getting ready to go to another one. But Evans and the golf team are off to a great start. Had a great year last year, and they're just kind of continuing with where they ended this past year.
Absolutely. I believe the saying is 24 teams, one RU?
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. Hopefully we can continue. We may add a few more. You never know. But for right now, 24-1.
Hey, stay tuned.
That's right.
Coach Burton.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you for joining me. That was Coach Jonathan Burton, the athletic director at Reinhardt University. And now we get a chance to check in with the namesake of the James Miller Coaches Show. Coach James Miller, how you doing, sir?
I'm great.
Absolutely. It's definitely nice to see your shining face this evening. So the team is coming off of a grueling non-conference slate, grueling to say the least, right? 2 top 10 opponents, one that was receiving votes, the other team not receiving votes, but they beat the team that was receiving votes. So 4 really difficult opponents back to back to back. What did you learn about your team during that time?
I mean, I think at time we've played, what I think is championship level football. And then at times we've played, mediocre football. I think we got a team that can be as good as they want to be. I believe in the players we have. I believe in our staff. I'm pushing our players and our staff, I think, as hard as I ever have. I'm putting everything into it, kind of like I do every year, but I feel like even more this year than ever. Just because I want to see us reach our max, because I do think we have a good football team. I think Lindsey Wilson's a really good, well-coached team. I think they got a great shot to win that conference. And, man, we put it on them in the first half. And then we came out in the second half and really laid an egg. And that was disappointing. To say it doesn't still bother me, I would be lying to you, especially going from a bye week. I think I watched that game maybe 2 or 3 times over the weekend. So just trying to see what I can do to get us to where I think we belong. But I think we've played 4 really good football teams. I think 4 teams that can beat anybody if they play their best game. And, the way we got to think of it is for the next 6 weeks, we're in the playoffs. Like, every game's a playoff game, and every game matters. And we can't worry about anything else besides the one we got right in front of us. And we got to go attack every day in practice and attack every day, every game that we have the opportunity to play in. So,
most definitely. And as much attention as Lindsey Wilson gets, especially with their run defense being one of the better rush defenses in the country year in and year out, you guys really gave it to him in that first half. Y'all had 220 rushing yards in the first half. What type of confidence does that type of performance give you moving forward as the season goes on?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're good up front. I think we got talented backs. I think we got a quarterback that can operate what we're trying to do really well. I think our receivers are blocking hard on the perimeter when they're asked to. And us moving the ball on them like we did, I think we present problems to people. We got a lot of weapons. It's just maintaining that degree for 4 quarters. And I think we did it in the second half. I think we still ran the ball good in the second half. We only had 1 possession in the third quarter. We just, we took a shot and, wasn't maybe the best ball, but receiver had opportunity to make a play. And I thought their safety, Taylor's going to come up here in a minute, but I thought their safety made a phenomenal play. So we turned it over, and then they drove 96 yards or whatever it was for another touchdown to take the lead, and we just couldn't ever grab the momentum back. We really tried. Our kids battled their tails off on both sides of the ball. I thought the effort was there. It was just we couldn't get the momentum back, and it really hurt us.
Yeah, and you spoke a little bit about that talented running back duo that you have, Jock Colbert, Jamarion Walker. They looked really good a few weeks back. I don't know if you remember, but you challenged those guys to sort of step up. It seems like every week since then, they've only gotten better. What does it mean for your offense when those 2 guys get it going the way that they seem to have gotten going this year?
Yeah, I think Jamarion had 1 run where he broke 6 tackles. I think Ja averaged 10 yards a carry. They were phenomenal on Saturday in all facets, not just run the football, blocking, catching, protecting, quarterback, all those things. They did a really good job. They played really well. Willie's doing a good job, our coach, Coach McLeod, preparing those guys for Saturday. They're talented, man, as talented as we've had since I've been here. And, Jamarion's a load. It's a really good kind of mixture because Ja's kind of your in space, kind of make you miss in a phone booth, and then Jamarion's the guy that's going to just run through the phone booth. So they bring a great 1-2 punch, and Harlem got in there and had a nice run. We had a holding call, but he had a nice run towards the end of the half, which it wasn't a hold, but we got NAIA refs, so we'll let it go.
Oh man, come on!
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I could see where they called it. But I think a big thing in the game was the last 4 minutes of the half and to begin the second half. We got into the inside the 10. We didn't get a touchdown. We kick it off to them. We don't get a stop. They go 16 plays, 80-something yards for a touchdown. And that was really kind of the difference in the game. And like I said, we couldn't ever get the momentum back. But those backs are as good as anybody in the country.
Yeah, and you just spoke a little bit about sort of the turning point in the game. We've already spoken this year about turning point plays, these small moments throughout that people don't really think about. They just see the final score. They don't really know exactly where the game turns, these different situations. How about here's one on that third down and long. The running back makes a play to make it 4th and short, and then eventually he gets the 4th down. Those type of plays, what goes into those kind of going a different way for your team?
You know, we work third down every week. We work all different distances. You try to prepare your guys as much as you can. We do it off the hip, so it's not scripted, so you have to call it off the hip. And their kids made plays, and our guys didn't. You know, I thought we had a good call on the 3rd and long. Their quarterback made a great throw across the field, and then their coordinator, he made a great call on 4th down with the wheel route, and the quarterback didn't look anywhere. He knew he was throwing it to the wheel. And we kind of almost, we didn't get picked, but our linebacker had to kind of run around. I think it was Jew, had to run around a guy to make the play, and he ended up getting the 1st down. It's unfortunate, man, but when you play good teams, like I told the guys at halftime, they're going to make a run. Like, we're going to have to respond. We're going to have to come out swinging, and I think we could have done a better job. Could have done a better job of making sure that we came out swinging in the second half to try to get us that momentum back. I think we can be better on the sideline. That's one thing Coach Burton and I talked about after the game, is just trying to improve that and improve how we are on the sideline to make sure that we respond in the right manner when something bad does happen. And I think these are all learning points that we can use in the future, like in these next games, because we're not guaranteed to win these next games. We're not guaranteed to beat anybody. And we're going to have to use everything we learned in these games that we played early that are tough opponents, and we're either going to use it for positive or we're going to let it beat us again. So we got to use everything we took from the first 4 games and try to get better as a team and get better as coaches and get better as a program, so we can really go on a run here and make something happen.
Yes, sir. And speaking of getting better, obviously someone who has to have gotten better over the course of his time here, Ty Jones, a freshman, stepped up, scored a touchdown for you. Is that a sign of things to come for his career moving forward?
Yeah, he's gonna be in the 2 deep now. He's very athletic, very good ball skills. Very good at he's probably our best guy, even though he's only like, whatever he is, 5'4". He's very good at jumping and catching the ball. Like, he's probably the best on the team, maybe, at high pointing the football and making a play. And he's very fast. He's very similar to Ty McKee. I think he's the guy that's going to kind of take over when Ty leaves after this year for that position. And he's a little different than Ty. He's probably got maybe a little bit better of ball skills as a receiver. Ty's probably a little better running the football, so they're a little different. But man, he's got a great attitude. He's strong. He's physical. He loves playing. He's a good family. He's from Augusta, Georgia, which has been good to us throughout the years in recruiting. I think his future is very bright. We're going to try to get him integrated even more into what we're doing. And, you know, like you tell everybody, like all the young kids, I keep telling them, like, they're not playing as much because we're playing really good opponents and we haven't had an opportunity to put anybody in yet. But your time's coming. You got to be prepared. And he was ready. Another guy is Anthony Green, a freshman center. You know, one of our O-linemen got hurt, and we had to throw him in there. And, again, he stepped up and played phenomenal football for the whole second quarter and the second half, and I was very proud of him. So those guys got to continue to prepare and practice so when it happens and they get that moment, they make the most of it.
Absolutely. And speaking of making the most of it, Damian Deloney, I felt like had a really good game, specifically getting 7 tackles, getting a sack, seemed like he was making plays. What has he provided your team up front in just his brief time here?
He's a guy, he's very active. He doesn't stay glued to blocks. He gets off blocks fast. He plays extremely hard. He's very knowledgeable. You can play him outside. You can play him at 3 technique. You can kind of move him around the whole D-line, which makes him valuable, which makes him a guy that you don't want to take off the field. I do think one thing we got to do is play more people up front. I don't think we're playing enough, and I think that was, some of the issues in the second half. We got a little gassed because we just got to play more bodies. We got to get more guys in there. We got to trust some of those young kids. We got to figure out, can they play or not? The only way we know if they can play is we got to throw them in there. So, but we're working on that. We're working on some substitution patterns that we're trying to do in practice to help some of those things. But he's a really good kid, man. Comes from a good family, really cares, wants to do well, is a pleaser, which is the kind of people you want to be around. I always like kids that want to please the coach, like want to do a good job because it's important to them to do a good job. Those are the kind of guys that I really embrace coaching and really enjoy coaching. The guys that want to do a good job because it's important to them and they were raised right, and it's important how they respond to everything.
Absolutely. And another guy that stepped up for you defensively, Markel Sutton. I felt like Markel Sutton had a really good game. He had 6 tackles, had that big strip sack, a fumble recovery. Getting him back this season, what does he bring for you, not just on the field, but off the field as well?
He's another guy that we challenge, maybe not on this show, but privately, that he needed to play better. He's coming from a patella tear, which is a pretty serious knee injury. Takes a long time to recover from. I think it was still bothering him all the way into really week 2. And he hasn't played. He didn't practice really in the spring. He hasn't played since the first game of last fall. So it's been a long time since he's played football. So I think things were moving a little fast for him. And I think Saturday, you saw signs of it finally starting to slow down, which I think is important for him because he's a repetition guy. He's a guy that needs practice. He needs to see things as fast and as live as he can. He's not a guy, there's certain guys that you cannot practice, but they're going to be ready on set. You were one of those guys.
The racehorse and the mule rule, I remember you saying that one time.
That's right. You were one of those guys. You didn't have to practice, but on Saturdays you knew you'd go out there and compete your tail off. He's kind of the opposite. That's how I was. I couldn't not practice and play. I needed reps. So he's very similar to me. And I think the game slowed down for him. I thought he played extremely well. He blitzed really hard on that play. He made the strip sack. And he's such a good kid, man. Such a good mom. He's been through so much in his life. And he's what college football is all about, from seeing a kid mature and grow up, and from where he started to where he is now. It's like night and day. It's awesome. That's why you coach.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, obviously, the game not going your way may not be the way that you would have wanted the season to start. How do you keep the team morale high in these moments? I was out there at practice today. It seemed like you guys were still flying around. Guys were into it. What do you do as a coach to keep the team really into it at this point in the season?
Well, we still got a lot to play for. It's a long season. There's a lot of guys that put a lot into this, like Taylor, like Zach Lyle, Aaron Inman, Justin Pinkney, Nathaniel Sanford, Markel Sutton, Brighton Peters, guys that have been here for 4 years that they got 6 games guaranteed. I mean, Coach Burton said it, baseball gets 50. We get 10. And that's what makes football so hard. Like, you got we get one chance to beat Union. That's it. Zach Lyle's not going to get that game back. We don't get to go out another day and play it again. So you gotta put everything into it. You gotta give it your all. I told them, I don't care if we're 0-4, 1-3. I'm never going to change as the person I am. I'm going to coach them harder probably being 1-3 than if we were 3-1. Like, I'm going to coach as hard as I ever can, and I'm going to hold them to a standard that was set forth by you, Bryce Johnson, Tevin McCoy, guys that came before them, because that's what this place is built on, and I'm not going to lower our standard to anybody. We're either going to do it the right way or we're not going to do it at all.
So another classic matchup between you and Lindsey Wilson. Series is tied now 3-3. We just had a little bit of breaking news, I guess, publicly that you guys are going to see them again next year. Just what does it mean to be able to have kind of a foil like that you can go back and forth with and have these sort of classic moments in these matchups that have not just a lot of history but a ton of respect as well?
Yeah, I'm probably the opposite of people. Like, I don't care who we play. I don't care who we have on our team. I'm going to go play anybody, anywhere. Parking lot, street, the grass in front of the gym. Like, we're just going to go play. I think it makes you better. I think it helps you build character. It finds out what kind of team you have, what kind of resolve you have. We just gotta find ways to win these close games, because I really think we're 6 plays against Southeastern. I know it sounds crazy, but we're 6 plays against Southeastern. We're 6 plays against Lindsey Wilson from it being a completely different game. And I don't think the kids sometimes realize how close it is. So you got to keep reminding them of that. Like, you're so close. You got a good football team. And I'm not going to let anything come between us for us not to try to achieve what I think we're capable of being. So it's a daily thing, man. It's hard. It's hard sometimes, but I love it. Wouldn't change anything. Do it every day. I don't work. So
yeah, if you love what you do, they say you never work a day in your life.
Never. Drives my wife crazy.
So that's going to officially wrap up your non-conference slate. I know that y'all have already moved on to working everything out about Union, but now officially the non-conference slate is wrapped up. When we come back from this break, we're going to go into Reinhardt's first conference matchup against Union Commonwealth. This is the James Miller Coaches Show.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Buffalo's Cafe for the football season.
We didn't come to fix Marco's brakes because it was convenient or fast. We did it because Marco has bigger fish to fry and a lot of hungry people to feed. Krause Family Ford. Passion drives purpose.
We have one subpar year, which will be other people's best season ever. 1, 2, 3, here we go!
With the TFL motion to make. Jackson throwing it. McKee open down the field, and it is a touchdown for the Reinhardt Eagles on the left side. Trying to snip on in, you will over Rice in. It's Ethan Rice in at quarterback. Rice making a move. Rice down the side to the 10-5 touchdown Reinhardt. is made by number 11, Adam Molimba, in about 3. And coming across the formation, the handoff is fake. Thrown into the end zone. Touchdown, Taylor Jackson to Xavier Walker. The hold, it is good.
Welcome back to episode 4 of the James Miller Coaches Show, presented by the Credit Union of Georgia. I'm still here with the namesake, Coach James Miller. So, as I said before we went to break, officially putting the non-conference slate to bed. Like we say, throw it behind the curtain. It's over with. Moving on, new challenge this week, the Union Commonwealth Bulldogs. Can you preview the matchup for Saturday for the fans out there?
Yeah, they got a good defense. They're 3-4. They got a really good player that plays in the boundary, number 7, Sam Hawthorne. I think he's a junior. He's very electric. He's got a great first step. Can rush the passer. He'll present fits for us. Then I think they return most of the guys up front. Number 52 is a all-conference defensive end. And I think he's been a conference player of the year, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago. Gee is his last name. He's a good player. Number 57 is a good player on defense, a linebacker. So they do a lot of different stuff. They're going to present a lot of problems. They're going to R-stunt you. They're going to blitz off the field side, the boundary side. They're going to try to bring pressure and create pressure. So we're going to have to be on point with our game plan and what we're trying to do offensively and getting the ball to our guys in space and trying to run the football like we always do. And then offensively, they got a big running back who can really tote the rock and does a really good job of moving the football. I think he's 220 pounds. They're about 300 pounds across the board up front. And they do a good job scheme-wise of knowing what they're doing and getting to their spots and then moving guys off their point. And they have 2 receivers that are pretty athletic that we're going to have to try to lock down. So it's going to present its challenges. Just like every week, though, I'm not as worried about them as I am about us. I want to control what we control. That's how we perform, what our effort is on Saturday, and how we prepare and practice every single day. That's all I can worry about. Not saying we don't watch film on those guys and we don't study them and we don't make a game plan off what we see on film, but I always think you start with us. What can we do better? What can we improve from last week? And so that's where we're going to start, and that's what we're going to focus on.
Absolutely, and officially making that transition in the AAC play. They sort of say that non-conference is where you learn different things about your team, almost playing with house money of sorts. Those games matter, but these are the ones where you really want to try to put it all together. What's the difference in mindset going from that first beginning stretch of the year, figuring things out, to now trying to round in a form and make a push for the playoffs?
I think it's like I said earlier. I mean, we're in a Super Bowl every Saturday. It's a Super Bowl. We got no opportunities to lose. We got to put everything we got into it. We got to focus. We got to execute. We got to run to the football. We got to play fast. We got to do everything that we've messed up. We got to do it better. We got to improve. If I'm saying we're 6 plays difference against Southeastern and 6 or 7 play difference against Lindsey Wilson, we got to try to cut those in half. We got to try to be a 3-play different, because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have mistakes. We're going to throw interceptions, or there's going to be a missed coverage on defense or something. We got to make up for it with effort. We got to make up for it by playing the next play. We got to have a great attitude on the sideline, great attitude in everything that we do, so we can go out and execute at a high level.
Most definitely, and you're a team and a program that has built a reputation for rarely dropping games at home. I believe it's 3 or 4 in the last 6 or 7 years, something like that. How important is it for you guys to not just bounce back from a loss, but bounce back in front of the Reinhardt faithful?
Man, everything I do to those kids on that field, they shouldn't want to lose there. I'm a bad person. Some of the stuff I do to them on that field, I wear them out pretty hard. I would think they want to protect that place. It's important to me that they win in front of their parents, win in front of the crowd. We've had great crowds. I hope it's awesome this Saturday. I think the weather's going to be awesome. So I'm really excited about it. It's always good to play at home because you get the opportunity to be around your family after the game. We're not on a bus all night trying to get back. You get the chance to sit on the couch, watch a game with Keegan, or play with Stetson and Deacon outside, or hang out with my wife. So that's always good. And then they get to play in front of their people, which I think is always, because not everybody's families can travel. But I think most families try to make it to the home games, and I think it's important that they play well in front of their families.
Absolutely, and one of the best pieces of advice that I could say that I've received as a football player came from a guy that you know very well, Logan Garner, former tight end here.
Oh, yeah.
He told me, always try to focus on one thing per week. Focus on getting better at one particular thing, and then focus on another thing another week and another thing, and kind of use that as building blocks moving forward. What's the one thing that you would point to for the team for this week?
Man, I would say offensively, we need to play a whole game. I think in spurts we've played as good as anybody, and I think in spurts we've played as bad as anybody. So we got to put a whole game together. Even against Fuller Memorial, I don't think we played a complete game. I think everybody out there that plays knows what I'm going to say about defense. Run to the football. We have to run to the ball. You can make up for a lot of errors. You can make up for a lot of mistakes if you run to the football. We're not doing a good job of that right now. I've challenged our staff. I've challenged our players. You were at practice today. It was a pretty intense, pretty heated practice today because, like I said before, Tevin McCoy was our Hall of Fame inductee this fall, and one thing he always put stock in, he was not the biggest guy. He's 5'9", 220 pounds, played defensive end, but no one ever outplayed him. No one played harder than him. Nobody practiced harder than him. As long as it was 11 on 11. If it was any kind of single thing or anything in the weight room or any kind of sprints, he was awful. But when you put 11 on 11, nobody played harder than that guy. And that's why he was a great football player. And that's what this place was. And he would not let anybody on that field not play as hard as him. And we got to have more guys holding guys to that standard at all times. I challenged Jude today. I challenged Brighton Peters today, Markel Sutton. We don't have enough guys holding guys to that standard to play as hard as you possibly can at all times. And part of that, too, is playing more guys. So that way we're fresher and we can play faster and do those things. So I think it's everything. It's an encompassing thing. It's our coaches. It's myself. It's everybody. Everybody's got to look in the mirror and do better. Like you said, find one thing we can do better, focus on that one thing, and let's get it better at it. And that's all we can do. So I think it's great advice from Logan Gardner.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, Logan, wherever you are.
He'll be watching this. But
sure.
But it was Ty Jones and Anthony Green this week. I believe a few weeks ago, Isaiah Payton. It seems like you guys have another young guy step up and step into a pretty sizable role every single week. What does it mean for you to be able to have so many different young guys that you aren't afraid to throw in there and have the ability to produce for you at such a high level?
Yeah, I think this is the most freshmen we've ever played since I've been here. Our backup O-line is all freshmen. Isaiah Payton is like, if Harlem's healthy, he's the fourth back freshman. Ty Jones, freshman. Darius Jordan, freshman. Caleb Brooks is going to play this week, freshman, as long as his hand's good. I shouldn't say that, but I told him to cut it off, and he got the other one. But I think we're playing a lot of young guys. Cooper Negron, Chris Reed, It's somewhere around 15 or 20 freshmen, and I think it's a super talented class. And when your number gets called, what are you going to do with it? How you practice is how you're going to play. That's a big Coach Beamer quote. He said it to us every day. How you practice, how you play. So hopefully they're preparing the right way, and when their moment comes, they take advantage of it.
Absolutely. And customary for us, just like every week, at some point we're going to get a graphic of this. The Coach James Miller word of the week, the one word for your team, for the fan base, the coaching staff, everyone that has a vested interest in Reinhardt football. I want you to set the tone. What is the word of the week for the Reinhardt football program?
Effort. Effort in every phase on both sides of the ball. Effort. Effort as hard as we can go, as long as we go, till you can't go no more. That's
Absolutely.
It.
Coach,
appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Always a pleasure. That is the namesake of the James Miller Coaches Show, Coach James Miller. And now I have the honor of welcoming one of the captains of the defense, Mr. Julian Stevenson, starting linebacker. Number 10, Julian Stevenson. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, so how you doing?
I can't complain, brother. I can't complain, man. It's good to see you, man. And, you know, your progression as a player, you came in as a freshman and you had moments where you would get in and do certain things. Last year, first time really starting and having a role, a consistent role within the defense. Now you're looked upon as not just someone who's supposed to make a tackle here and there. You're someone that's looked to be one of the guys, one of the best players on the field at all times. How has that transition been for you?
It's been great. Coach BG has, been doing a good job, pushing me and, staying in film and, just doing all the little stuff. And then the linebacker room as well. We always, want to see each other grow. Every practice, every film set, like we're always, finding a way to just get better. It's not just, me, myself. Coach Miller, he stays on me.
I was out there today. I saw a little bit of it.
Yeah. I mean, his intensity doesn't stop. But, that only, makes us better and, we grow from it. So, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what would you say is, a little bit of self-promotion here, what would you say is the one skill that you have that makes you such an important piece to this Reinhardt defense?
I would just say keeping the guys together. When bad stuff happens, if you play football, bad stuff is going to happen. Any sport, bad stuff is going to happen. When, say a long run breaks, just getting back to the ball and, seeing the read, seeing the formation, just keeping everyone together, when the bad stuff happens. Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, it's been a pleasure to see your progression as a player. What do you think you need to do to be able to take your game to an even higher level as this season goes on?
Really just practicing like it. Every day, just, staying in the film, watching, little tendencies. Where can I make a play there? Where can I make if I'm not going to make that play, after that it's effort, getting to the ball type of thing. Just really just picking on the little stuff, just critiquing myself, as much as possible, to be the player that I can be, that I know that I can be. Right.
Most definitely. And as a leader of the defense, you're a guy that has to have an understanding of what's going on, not just in your position group, but what's going on up front with the defensive line, what's happening behind you with the defensive back. So obviously you know who you're on the field with at all times, I'm sure. Who's a guy that you feel like is going to be someone that will be key for your team moving forward, someone who may not be getting a whole lot of love or attention right now, but someone who's going to step up for you believe?
Honestly, at this moment, I say the linebacker room. We're kind of like getting the feel of like every linebacker playing with each other. So it's different, not all the time I'm in with Adam or, sometimes I'm in with Greer. Sometimes I'm in with Points. Like I'm in with, all of these guys. And you have to, be able to adapt and, play. I can go to Mike, I can go to Will type of thing. But I think those guys they're really learning. They're teaching me stuff. I'm teaching them stuff. And, as a group, we're just, trying to get better and, learning from BG. He stays like, he's a percentage guy and a big football guy. Like the numbers and everything is just it's crazy. But you know, he's really, you know, pushing us, you know, to be, you know, calling out plays and, you know, just doing the little stuff, you know, to be, you know, great linebackers that, you know, we can be. So really just pushing those younger guys like Cooper, Chris, and getting them along and, you know, filling them out in the rotation. Like it's just amazing. So yeah.
Most definitely. And defensively, specifically, you guys have had moments of real dominance, really, throughout most of that Cumberland game and the first half against Lindsey Wilson. And then you've had moments that have unfortunately haven't gone your way, like some of the second half against Southeastern, some of the second half against Lindsey Wilson. What do you think is the key for you guys to be able to put together an entire full 60-minute game on the defensive side of the ball?
Just having a next play mentality. Yes, you know, like, you know, bad stuff is going to happen, like I said, and just staying fresh and keep going, you know, keeping these guys going, you know, finding a way to, you know, keep going. So today we ran pursuit. We ran for the first 2 periods. It was long. We were running a lot, like Coach Miller said. We were running a lot, but you know, when we get tired, you know what I'm saying, like who is gonna, you know, stay in it, you know what I'm saying, keeping these guys going and, you know, figuring it out. And, you know, those guys are bringing me along, like I'm, you know, tired as well, gassed as well. And they're like, come on, Jude, you know, we're with you, you know what I'm saying. So just having a next play mentality, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, bad stuff's gonna happen. You know, what are we gonna do, you know what I'm saying, the next play. So yeah.
Jude.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, man. Thank you for joining me, man. That is the defensive captain, the defensive representative, Mr. Julian Stevenson. And now we'll get a chance to meet the offensive captain, the offensive representative, and the most attention probably on the team because he plays the quote-unquote most important position on the team, quarterback, Mr. Taylor Jackson.
Lorenzo, it's a pleasure.
Absolutely. How you doing, sir?
Another day in paradise.
Absolutely. Can't beat it, man. Can't beat it.
Can't beat it at all.
Hey, man. So I'm going to start with this. You have been through a lot of different things when it comes to injury, when it comes to being in sort of a quarterback battle at times throughout your time here. What does it mean for you to be able to have a chance to write the ending of your story?
I guess it's just a confidence booster. You know, like you said, I've been through a lot, ACL surgeries to battling it out with another quarterback and kind of going back and forth trying to find my way. But yeah, it's a big confidence booster, knowing that it's officially like mine. It's my story to write. It's always, you know, you like to have it in your hands, and when it's in your hands, you can do whatever you want with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And something that you may not be known for coming into the year, but I've seen a lot of this season. I don't want to say surprised, but you really ran the ball really well this year, and you ran it really hard this season. What's kind of gone into that for you?
It's taking what the defense gives you. I'm not the fastest guy, and Coach Miller's, but I'm kind of sneaky fast between the tackles if I can get there.
Sneaky athletic, he said.
Yeah. Finding a slight hole and, you know, just going, especially, you know, like you get drop 8 when, you know, in coverage and you're only rushing 3. The best choice sometimes is to just take it and run and get what you can. You know, I've probably taken more hits than I want to admit that I probably should. But, you know, I'm a tough kid, so, you know, getting what I can and, you know, getting the first down or getting just, you know, I want to fall for 2. I always want to get 2 more and just keep going from there. But it's something I used to have, you know, back when I was a little bit younger. And I say that, but
you don't want to age yourself.
I know. I probably just did, but it's okay. But back when high school, I was a runner. I was a dual threat quarterback, but, you know, as you age a little bit, as you know, then you have surgery. It's hard to, you know, gain that full situation back. But I've shown little glimpses of what I used to be and what I can do. So hopefully that kind of widens the game a little bit. They know I can throw the ball now. They know I can run the football. So, you know, bringing back that little bit of like kind of that dual threat action that, you know, that I want to present, you know, against teams. So then they have to cover both.
Most definitely. And again, a lot like the defense, you guys have had moments where you've looked really good, really clicking on all cylinders. You've also had moments that have unfortunately not exactly gone your way. What's the one thing that you would point to as something that you guys want to do better at starting this week against Union?
Starting this week against Union, the biggest focus lately has been making sure we finish, whether it's finishing a block in practice or running through a line, trying to get these guys to understand that, like, when we start a game, we started so fast against Lindsey Wilson, and we want to continue to build on that and just working on like the finish mentality. Going through each play, each down, each rep, whether we're in pads or whether we're just in helmets, we want to finish each and every set. Like our running backs are running through the line, even though it's non-contact, they're running through the defense and finishing all the way to the end zone to build that mentality and to kind of drill it into them. But it's going through as a purpose though.
Absolutely. And I asked Julian Stevenson a very similar question, as he's the quarterback of the defense. You're obviously the quarterback, the leader of the offense, so you have a pretty good idea of what's happening around you with different guys. Ty Jones was someone who people may not have really seen him coming last week, and then he stepped up in a big moment for you. Who's somebody who may not be getting a whole lot of attention right now, but potentially could be very important for you moving forward?
I think it's really Harlan Diamond. Harlan Diamond's that third running back. He is very good in blocking and in pass protection. He's somebody that I really trust to get back there with me, and I don't spend a lot of time with him, but he is very much grown on me. He got a penalty versus Southeastern, and I thought he just drilled the guy, and it was in pass protection. He drove him 5 yards and planted him in the ground, and he had me blown away. I didn't know where the flag came from until I watched it on film. But then I get him in Lindsey Wilson, and he's doing the same thing. He is somebody that really has a really big future here, who I think can make a big impact this season alone. Absolutely, and from a personal standpoint and from a team standpoint, what does a successful finish to the season look like for Taylor Jackson? For Taylor Jackson, I hate this. I hate to go forward, as like an end of the season thing. But if for Taylor Jackson, if I want to, I think I just want to win. I don't really care how it goes. I really don't care if I'm playing. Now I am playing, and I'm God bless for that. But I just want to win, and I just want to see everybody succeed. And whether I go first team all conference or second team all conference, or I don't get any award at all, I just want to win this conference, period. Absolutely. Taylor, Lorenzo, thank you for joining me, man. Appreciate it very much. Quarterback of the Reinhardt Eagles, Taylor Jackson. I'm Lorenzo Robinson, the host, and this has been episode 4 of the James Miller Coaches Show. We'll see you all next time.